Hey guys, it's Natalie and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing an April 2020 TBR video. This is my second TBR video. I wanted to see if you guys would like that sort of thing. I don't know if people are actually interested in watching them besides myself. So I decided to make one and you guys seem to really enjoy that, so I'm going to be making another TBR video and probably every month from now on. So first of all, I would like to apologize for the extremely weird setup. First of all, at my parents' house, I used to share a room with my sister, and this week she moved my bed out of our old bedroom because, you know, she wanted her own space since I don't live here anymore, and she put in a couch. So now we have a couch, and it's really strange, and she's got funky Art Deco pillows. But anyways, so that's why I'm sitting on a couch now. There's like a fancy plant in the background. It all looks very different in here. So I apologize for that. And second of all, my Canon G7X broke the camera I normally film with. My sister dropped it. We share that camera actually, and so yeah, I have to send it in to get repaired. So luckily I had a warranty on that and I will be hopefully getting it repaired. So I apologize for the weird quality. I'm filming on my sister's iPhone. I would film on my phone, but I have a really bad Android and you can literally count the pixels on the screen. It's really not good. So I apologize for the poor quality. Also, I had initially filmed this video while it was still daylight outside, but I filmed it on my other sister's iPhone only for her to tell me after I had filmed the entire thing that the sound doesn't work on her phone. So I basically filmed an entire silent video. So this is like take two of this video. I'm going to be attempting to be filming this again, and now it's dark outside, so I'm using a ring light, so I apologize for the really weird setup. I promise it won't be like this from every video. Also, since my camera is broken and everything like that, I don't know how many videos I'm going to be able to pump out for the rest of March and until April. I'm going to try to get my own camera so I don't have to share one with my sister, and that way I can film at my boyfriend's house where I live and I can do fun reading vlogs and stuff like that. So hopefully, you know, I will be having more videos in the future, but for now I'm going to be filming in this extremely stark setup, so I apologize for that. So let's hop into my April TBR. So the first handful of books I'm going to mention I actually don't own right now, but I either will in the future, or I'm getting them from the library, or I'm listening to them in audio or reading them on Kindle, so I don't have them physically right now. But the first book I plan on reading in April of 2020 is Saga Volume 4 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. I know I've been saying it like Brian K. Vaughan, but I think it's Vaughan and I'm just stupid. So anyways, this is the fourth graphic novel in an adult sci-fi series that follows a couple who fall in love and their planets are at war, so their romance is very forbidden. They have a baby and then they're on the run from assassins throughout the galaxy. It's a really fun time. I've really been enjoying the series. I started reading it in January and it's just been a lot of fun. So it definitely is for adults though, keep that in mind. It has a lot of like nudity, you know, sex, a lot of bad stuff in there, violence, gore, everything like that. So it's definitely not for young readers. I just want to put that out there, but I can't wait to read the next volume. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So the next book I plan on reading in April is actually also a graphic novel, and that is Amulet Volume 5 by Kazuki Buishi. This is a YA/middle grade graphic novel series that I've been reading since December, and I've been absolutely loving it. It is a fantasy one, and it basically follows two siblings who are basically whisked away into a totally different magical universe after their mother goes missing, and it has a lot to do with family, friendship. There's a lot of wacky, zany characters. There's a prophecy with an amulet, and it's just a really fun time. I've really been enjoying it, and I can't wait to read the fifth volume, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So the next two books I plan on reading in April are actually both books that I picked from my non-physical Goodreads TBR. I have so many books on my non-physical TBR that every month I pick two books from that list to read, just so that I'm not reading completely stuff from my shelf, and that number on my Goodreads TBR will slowly decrease because there's like 800 books on that list. So basically, I put all of those book titles, all 800 of them on my non-physical TBR, into a name generator, and it randomly picks two books. So the first book that the almighty name generator picked is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and this one is, I believe, literary fiction, if I'm not mistaken, or it's just straight up fiction, and it has to do with I believe the Bonita family or something like that, and it has to do with the need for solitude, but also the need for human love and affection, and kind of like family relationships and everything like that. And this is pitched as, you know, a very, very touching story of magical realism, and I tend to really love magical realism in books, so I think I'm really, really going to enjoy this one. I've heard really good things about it, and I definitely want to incorporate more, you know, classic, you know, adult literature into my reading habits, because I do read a lot of YA, so hopefully I'm going to enjoy this one. I plan on checking it out from my library, so I currently do not have it physically. So the next book that my name generator picked is Love Boat Taipei by Abigail Hing Wen, and this one is a YA contemporary that follows a girl whose parents send her to Taiwan to kind of connect with her roots and kind of put a more conservative spin to her life. But I think that when she goes to Taiwan, she finds out that, you know, everyone there is not super conservative, and there's actually like a party life and, you know, adventurous people living there. And it's kind of just about a girl who's straddling two cultures and kind of trying to find her place in the world. I've actually heard really, really mixed things about this book, but I'm really, really curious to see where my opinion lands. I plan on listening to this one on audio. I already have the audiobook ready and downloaded from Audible, so I think I'm really going to enjoy this one, because I tend to like books that have a lot to do with culture and kind of paving your own path and breaking off from, you know, your parents' expectations. So I think I'm really, really going to enjoy this one. So the next book I plan on reading in April of 2020 is City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. I don't have this one right now, but I plan on ordering it from Amazon at the end of the month. This is the second book in the Mortal Instruments series and the second book in the Shadowhunters realm, universe, whatever you want to call it. This month in March, I started reading City of Bones, and I didn't really like it at first, honestly, but it really just grew on me, and I really just want to be part of this fandom, because I feel like this series is just a building block for the booktube community, and I never got the chance to read it when I was in middle school or high school, and so I feel like I'm kind of late to the party, but I feel like I'm really going to enjoy this series, and I just think it's a lot of fun. It's like fantasy that you can just really just immerse yourself into, and I love series that you can just like escape with, and so yeah, I think I'm really going to enjoy this next one. So yeah. So the last book on my April TBR that I do not have physically is The Governess Game by Tessa Dare, and last month in March, this month I guess I should say, I decided to read my first adult historical romance, and I read The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare. And honestly, I was not really loving it at first, but the more I read it, I really, really enjoyed it, because I don't know, there's just something so fun about it, and it was just so much fun to just curl up into bed with it at night and read it, and I just had a really good time. I found the writing to be really, really funny, and I really liked the romance and the smut. It was just a really good time. So the second book in this little series is The Governess Game by Tessa Dare, and it follows one of the characters from the first book and her relationship and her, you know, romance or whatever, and it just sounds like it's gonna be a lot of fun. I've just been having a lot of fun reading adult romance lately. It's not something that I normally read, and it's definitely refreshing, because I've read YA romance for so long, and I'm turning 21 next month. Next month, May. I'm turning 21. And so, I don't know, I just feel myself kind of slowly growing out of the YA romance genre, so I feel like it's definitely refreshing to read, you know, some fun adult romance, some good old bodice rippers. I just think this is going to be a lot of fun. So the next book I plan on reading in April of 2020 is You Are Not Alone by Gru Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. This one is a thriller, and it is the Literally Dead Book Club April pick, and basically, if you aren't aware, it's a book club hosted by another booktuber, Kayla, over at Books and Lala, and basically every month she picks a thriller for her book club members to read. She picks a co-host, and at the end of the month they do a live show and discuss the book, and I've been in it for coming on 3 months now, and I've just been really enjoying the books that she's picked, and I think I'm really going to enjoy this one. I don't know too much about this one, but I really do love the cover. It's just so pretty. I like the lime neon green and the blue. I just think it looks really good, so I'm super excited about this one. I will link her announcement video down below if you're interested in joining the book club. Anybody can join. I think it's a really, really great concept, especially for people like me who work 40-hour weeks and I can't participate in a physical book club. club, so I think this is a really, really great thing. So yeah, I'm super, super stoked to read this one. I hope I love it. So the next two books I plan on reading in April is The Hunger Games and Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. These are the first two books in the Hunger Games trilogy. I have not read these since, like, I think high school or middle school or something like that. This used to be my favorite series of all time. I had all the books, I had all the merch. I don't know what happened to any of it. These are, I think, my boyfriend's copies of the books. But I just literally don't know what happened to any of my Catching Fire merch. I am livid. So basically, another book by Suzanne Collins is coming out in May, and it basically takes place before the events of the first three books in the trilogy. I think it's like 64 years before the original trilogy, and I think it follows how President Snow came to be and everything like that, and it just sounds really interesting. So in anticipation of that release, I'm going to be reading The Hunger Games and Catching Fire in April, and I actually plan on reading Mockingjay in May, the month that the new book comes out. So yeah, I'm super stoked to be back in this little dystopian universe. It's been so long since I read it. I absolutely adore this series. I love the movies, and I just can't wait to dip my toe back in some old dystopian. On the trend of reading my middle/high school favorite books, I plan on reading The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I don't know if you guys have heard me mention it on my channel, but I plan on rereading all of John Green's books in 2020. In 2019, I reread Looking for Alaska, I reread Paper Towns, and I also read a book that he participated in, which is Let It Snow. I didn't really like Paper Towns, and I didn't really like Let It Snow. I love Looking for Alaska. I don't really know where my opinion stands on this one just because it's been so long, but I do find now that I'm an adult, his writing and his arrogant writing style just don't really sit with me anymore, but hopefully this one's a winner. This one is a YA contemporary romance that everyone knows and loves or hates, but basically it follows two teens who have cancer and fall in love, and I just remember really liking this, so hopefully I still like it. I'm not 100% sure, but you know what, we're gonna try. So yeah, I'm super nervous to read this one. I actually have the audiobook all ready and downloaded for me to read, so now we're moving on to the part of my TBR where I talk about the books that I already own physically. So for the rest of my April TBR, I kind of wanted to give that, give that opportunity to chance. So basically, I let my boyfriend pick the rest of my April TBR, which might be a bad idea because his taste, it's questionable. So let's get into that. So basically what I did is I made a bunch of piles of books, each of them a different genre, like thriller, sci-fi, romance, and I just let him pick one from every stack. So first, for the thriller category, he chose The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. I actually own 3 Ruth Ware books, but I haven't read a single one for some unknown reason. So yeah, this one is a thriller that basically follows a woman who receives a mysterious letter to come to this estate that she has supposedly inherited, and when she gets there she finds out that she actually is the wrong recipient of the letter, but she decides to go along with the facade and basically pretend like she is, gonna inherit the freaking house. At least I think that's what this is about. I'm honestly not 100% sure, but that's like the basic gist of it. It has to do with like inheritance. She's propelling herself into a family that she doesn't really know in order to get this lavish estate. So yeah, I'm super excited to get into this one. I really, really like the cover, so hopefully this one's a winner. So next, in the sci-fi category, my boyfriend's pick is not a surprise to me, and that is Ahsoka by E.K. Johnston. So basically, my boyfriend loves Star Wars, and so I was not surprised that he picked this one. So basically this follows Ahsoka Tano after the events of the Clone Wars in Order 66, and kind of like what she's doing afterwards, and like kind of paving her own path now that, her master has officially yeeted himself. So anyways, I'm super excited to read this one. I've been feeling kind of out of touch with the Star Wars universe ever since I finished The Mandalorian, but hopefully, this one will revive my love for the series and kind of just reconnects me to the fandom and the universe, and I just can't wait to read this one. I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun. I've had this on my TBR for a really, really long time, and so I'm happy to finally, hopefully, being able to read it. So next in the classics category, my boyfriend chose Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll, and I'm really glad he chose this one because it's short. So this is a very ambitious TBR. I believe there's 18 books on this TBR list, so I'm glad he chose this one. It's very short. But basically, Alice in Wonderland. I haven't read it in a really long time. I haven't read it since I was a kid, but it was one of my favorites when I was a kid, and I had a really pretty illustrated edition. I saw all the movies as soon as they came out in theaters, so I absolutely love Alice in Wonderland. It's just been so long since I read it, so hopefully, you know, I will enjoy it even more now as an adult. I think it's one of the ones that definitely holds up over time just because of how weird and fantastic it is. So I really can't wait to read this one. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So the next pick that my boyfriend picked is from my YA backlist. So he picked from all the books that have been sitting on my shelf for a while that are YA books, and he chose Time Bomb by Joelle Charbonneau, and this one's been on my TBR for a while, and I actually got this as a gift for Christmas, so it's been sitting on my shelf since Christmas. And this one is basically pitched as kind of like Breakfast Club, like a ragtag group of teens who are basically all stuck together during a school bombing. So it's not necessarily a light subject. So I tend to like hard-hitting contemporary. I like when characters are kind of like forced into situations and are kind of like forced to be together. I don't know, I just really like that trope. So hopefully I like this one. It has pretty decent ratings on Goodreads. So yeah, I'm super excited and also nervous to read this one. Next, in the YA contemporary category, he chose Here We Are Now by Jasmine Warga, and I read Jasmine Warga's one of her other books, Other Words from Home, and I read it, I believe, in December, and it's her middle grade book that I really, really loved. I gave it 5 stars. It was on my favorite books of 2019 list, so naturally I auto-bought her other book, Here We Are Now. I got it from Book Outlet for like $2 or something like that, so I just like didn't even look what it was about. I just added it to my cart because it said Jasmine Warga on it, so hopefully I like this one. All I know is this has to do with like dancing and stuff like that, so you can see all these like little people dancing on the cover. So I think I'm really going to like this one. I tend to really like her writing and stuff like that, so hopefully this one's good. I probably am going to be listening to this one on audio because usually when I listen to audiobooks, it's usually YA contemporary because it's really easy for me to listen to at work and I don't have to put too much thought into it as, you know, like a fantasy or something where I'd have to put all my attention into it. So yeah, I'm probably going to be listening to this one on audio. Why am I drinking a coffee at 8 o'clock at night? Who knows? Not me. So next in my adult backlist list, right? So basically, my boyfriend picked Things in Jars by Jess Kidd, and this book has been on my TBRs since January. So this one actually is also in my 5-star book predictions video, which I will link down below if you are interested in watching that. So this book I got in January in my Book of the Month box, and I absolutely love Book of the Month. They are my favorite. I've had them for like 7 months now. They're fabulous. I will link my little link down below if you're interested in signing up. They're absolutely fabulous. I'm not sponsored by them, I just love them. So basically this is an adult historical fiction that follows a group of detectives or a single detective, I'm not sure. It sounded like there was multiple, but there might just be one. But basically it takes place in the Victorian era, I believe in the 1800s, and there are female detectives who are investigating, I believe, either a missing child or a missing mermaid, or there's just a mermaid involved. That's all I know. It sounded really intriguing, and so yeah, I think the reason I haven't picked this one up yet is because it's historical fiction, because when it comes to historical fiction, I'm just like, do I really want to read it? But then I usually end up loving it, so I don't know, I just don't normally feel gravitated towards historical fiction. But this one has like fantasy elements, so obviously it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully I like it. I feel like I'm going to like it. I don't know why I haven't picked it up. I suck. I'm horrible. And this one's like kind of like a maybe on my April TBR, so I don't really know if I'm going to get around to this one, but I hope I do. So next in the adult romance category, my boyfriend picked The Two Lives of Lydia Bird by Josie Silver. And I know what you guys are thinking. Hey Natalie, last year in December, didn't you DNF her other book, One Day in December, and you put it in your DNF'd Books of 2019 video? Why, yes I did, but that doesn't mean her writing is objectively bad. So the reason I DNF'd her other book was because of the premise of it, which was insta-love, and I hate insta-love with a burning passion. Like, I need to have an already established relationship, or like a slow burn romance. Like, insta-love just does not work for me. So this one is about a woman whose husband dies, and either out of grief or out of like, you know, magical reasons, she starts to see her husband and talk to him again even though he's dead. And this just sounds like it's going to be really, really interesting. I have a feeling there's going to be like flashbacks involved in this, and I just feel like this is going to be a lot of fun. I really like the cover, and I'm really excited to give Josie Silver another chance. Her other book wasn't objectively bad, it just was not my cup of tea, so hopefully, you know, this one will work out. So lastly, in the YA fantasy category, my boyfriend picked The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu, and I've actually never read anything by Marie Lu, but I've heard really good things about her work. I've heard great things about her Little Rebel series, her Legend series, her Warcross series. I've heard great things about them all. So this one I believe is going to be a duology, and this one is called The Kingdom of Back, and basically it follows a fictional kingdom slash fantasy realm where Mozart's sister is severely undershadowed, and she just wants to be, you know, noticed, and she's like, just because my brother's a prodigy doesn't mean that I suck. So basically it's just about her trying to fight the patriarchy, get noticed, get rich, get famous, and I'm so excited to read about this. I feel like this book came out at just like a perfect time because it's Women's History Month, and I'm just so ready to read about more women being badass and fighting the patriarchy. I'm here for it, and this cover is just absolutely stunning, and I've never really read a book where music is like a prime element in the book, so I feel like I'm really going to enjoy this one, and it's not that long either, so I feel like this one's going to be really doable for me, and I'm really excited to read it. So this is like my 8th time filming this outro because my family is very large and very loud, so I apologize if you hear anybody yelling, screaming, or otherwise dying. I apologize for that. But anyways, I think that concludes my very ambitious April TBR. I don't know if I'm going to get to all these books, honestly, because my TBRs always end up switching around. That's why I was so hesitant to film TBR videos in the first place, but you guys really seem to like them, so I'm going to keep them coming. And if I end up not getting to one of these books and you just really want to hear my opinion on it, leave a comment, say, hey girl, read that book, I want to know your opinion, and I will try to get to it as fast as I can and pump out a review for you guys. Definitely if you want to stay up to date with my reviews and kind of see them even before I end up uploading my wrap-up video, definitely follow me on Goodreads. I'll link my Goodreads down below. I always end up posting my reviews there before I film my wrap-up videos, so you're kind of getting like exclusive content, if you know what I mean. So yeah, thank you guys for bearing with me through this very strange, very bad setup and, you know, everything like that. I'm gonna try to get out as many videos as I can this month, but it's really hard, especially considering everything that's going on in the world right now and the fact that my camera is broken and everything like that. So I will try to get out as many videos as I can, and I apologize if, you know, this month has been kind of lackluster in terms of videos. I'm definitely going to be trying to film as many as I can. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye!